This is Pastor Alton JAMISON with Real Life Ministries. Just want to share with you a video today, just on a message, a word of encouragement. One thing I always want to invite you out. Check us out every Saturday, 5 p.m. at Curtis Elementary School, located at 3600 West 100 Road in Chester, Virginia. We want to share with you today a passage of scripture coming from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 17. It says, faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and that he had received the promises, offered up his only begotten son, of whom it is said, that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. 19 says, accounting that God was able to raise him up from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. And this is mind blowing here. Read 19 again. It says, accounting that God was able to raise him up from the dead, from whence also received him in a figure. And the power of this text is that if you remember the story, I think it's back over in Genesis, somewhere 13, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. We know that Isaac was supposed to be that child, that promise, that seed. Initially, Abraham tried to get ahead of the game and tried to go get him an Ishmael. Being impatient. How many of you have Ishmaels in your life? How many of you have gotten impatient and you didn't want to wait for God? You didn't want to wait for God on the spouse. You didn't want to wait for God on the job. You didn't want to wait for God on the house, etc. And then you got to an Ishmael, which has caused you so much trouble. Isaac came. Isaac was the seed. And so God, it's amazing. God gave him the promise. Abraham, you're going to have seed as the sand on the beach, to count the stars, Abraham. We know the story. And so then God says, you, Abraham, will sacrifice your son. Okay. Abraham, he goes up to the mountain and he tells his servants, he says, servants, me and the boy, we're coming back. We're about to go worship God. Well, wait a minute, Abraham. Abraham's supposed to have been a man of faith. We all know we're the seed of Abraham and all of this stuff. Blessing of Abraham. How is it that God has just commanded you to sacrifice your son, and then you have the nerve, the ball, to tell your servants that we'll be back? And when he goes up there and he goes through the motions. And as he's about to sacrifice, you hear the voice, Abraham, Abraham, wait. There's a ram in the bush. I have another sacrifice. And the amazing thing, Hebrew tells us, Abraham pretty much had so much faith, even if he killed Isaac, he already had a figure of Isaac being raised from the dead. And that's powerful because you have to believe when God gives you a promise, not even God himself can take that promise away. The Bible says that the word will not return void. Heaven and earth will pass away, but God's word will not. And that's powerful because when God makes that promise, nothing can separate you from that promise. I don't care if that child had to be raised back up from the dead. All of a sudden, that promise is still going to be there because God spoke it. The power of covenant relationship. One covenant relationship, God made a covenant with Abraham. We talked about how God came down and he walked between two halves. And he put Abraham in a sleep and he made a. And whenever God puts you in a sleep, something's about to happen. Whenever God has you in a daze, when you're confused, Adam was in a daze, and all of a sudden Eve came out of his womb, and Abraham went down in a deep sleep, and all of a sudden came and made a covenant. And when God makes a covenant with you, he makes a blood arrangement. And basically, in covenant relationship, it basically says what one partner does, the other one has to do the same or even greater. So now we're in a situation. Abraham was ready to kill his son. Jesus, according to Ephesians 3:20, he will do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. So Abraham was thinking that my son's going to die. So in order for God to stay in line with his word, Thousands of years later down the road, Jesus also had a son. God also had a son, Jesus, that he put up on the cross. And because of covenant relationship, his son had to die. But because of the power of God, Jesus was able to raise up from the dead. And how did we raise? He raised up by faith, the power of God. What am I saying to you today? Saying to you that God is in relationship and covenant relationship with you, and that everything that He has promised you, He's going to bring to pass. I don't care what your situation looks like. I don't care how bleak. I don't care if you think that everything is about to fall apart. I imagine Abraham as he's about to kill his son, thinking that, man, this is my boy. This is my son. God just told me this God that I'm serving. He better not renege. He better not renege because He promised me this. And you have to get violent with your faith and say, God promised me this. The Bible says the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violence taken by force. You have to get violent with your faith. You have to get violent and say, you know what? God, you will do this. This situation will change. According to your word, wait a minute. By your stripes I am healed. I'm up here. Why am I up here worrying? Wait a minute. God isn't giving me the spirit of fear, but the power of love and a sound mind. Why am I tripping about that? Ephesians 1:12 says, my children will be walking in the land. Why am I worried about my children are going to, turn away from me? When you begin to look at the word of God, it says, God, according to what you promised me, and according to what the word of God says, I'm not going to be moved. Regardless of how bad my situation may be right now, regardless of how bad everything may look in your life, be moved. You have to know that God will keep His word. He's faithful, just keep His word. He will not fail you. I don't care what you go through. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it feels like. You got to get. Faith says you have to get beyond your senses. I told somebody that faith isn't worth anything until you have to use it. You have to get beyond your senses. You have to get beyond how you feel and your emotions and all of this. And you got to say, you know what? I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here. Job says, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. You got to stay right there. You got to stay in this word. You're not going to move. I challenge you. Pastor Alton James from Real Life Ministries. Challenging you right now. My heart. Whatever God has in store for you. Whatever promise, I don't care your age. I don't care what you got going on. I don't care your circumstances. I don't care how many mistakes that you may have made. I tell you like He told Joshua, everywhere your foot tread. So told Joshua, He said, meditate on the word day and night, that you may make your way prosperous. God is helping you right now, making your way prosperous. God is going to open up every door, close every door that needs to be closed, and open every door that needs to be closed. And you have to have the faith. The Bible says, don't let your confidence fail. You got to have the faith in Him to know that He loves you, that He's with you, and that He won't fail you. Alton Jameson, be encouraged.